Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of
What is it?
uh,
It's written down somewhere.
a podcast about being an international student in Paris, and most especially a student of color. Cool.
Is that it?
Yeah. For today's conversation, we're going to talk about accommodation and the housing crisis in Paris and how students can navigate it and how it affects them. I'll let my guests introduce themselves and then we can begin the conversation. So before we go ahead, my name is Adom. Like you guys know, I might sound a bit different because it is winter and I am slightly sick, but I will be fine. So yeah, do you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves? Who goes first?
Thank you. I'm Tiffany. I am not sick, thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
I'm Sherif and I'm very sick. So I'm Sherif. I'm a telecommunication engineer specialized in cybersecurity. I was an international student
Scribe was a student, I think, last year.
last year. Yes,
Yes.
graduated class of 2022.
Okay.
Yes.
So, before you came to Paris, or during your preparation stages to come to Paris, how did you sort out, the entire accommodation requirements for the visa applications and stuff like that? How did you navigate it?
It was really interesting. So, before I came last 2021, I
Yeah.
actually applied for a visa in 2019.
Okay.
So that visa got denied.
Ooh.
Yes, because of the accommodation. I had found accommodation. I have found how to say, and excuse me for my English. So just gonna say some words in French.
No, it's fine. Just go ahead.
Yes. So I found hébergement
Mm-hmm.
from a friend of a friend, but they told me that they denied my visa because the hébergement was a bit far from my school.
How far was it?
22 kilometers.
That is literally like from
Yes.
Paris to the suburbs.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. That's like,
It's not that far.
it's not that far.
It's like maybe
and
an
it
hour.
was and it was
Yeah,
actually,
maybe.
Yeah, it was Sud Paris. It was near where I live now, basically.
Mhm.
And the person was living in Paris,
Okay.
so I could just take the Airbnb.
Yeah. But they denied it. That's
Yes. They denied it because they were like, "Oh, it's too far. 22 kilometers. It's like far." So I reapplied 2 years later after
Okay.
I worked some time.
Right.
And the second time around, I made sure I actually book in the campus inside my school. So
Okay.
I booked a room inside the campus, and that way they were like, okay, I guess we have no excuse.
Okay, so in your second application, you were able to secure accommodation inside the campus. But how did you go about that? Was there like a service that your school provided to help you get accommodation on campus, or you had to apply through third-party services? How did that work out?
Oh no, my school provided a service that allowed you, if you get an inscription,
Yeah,
if you get like accepted in the school,
yeah.
they gave you the opportunity to actually book for a room. But the process was very selective.
Yeah,
So you had to book the room like really early.
right.
And I booked my room. I did the reservation in July or end of June.
Wow.
way
And
before
when did you start school? September?
Yes. But my class started in September, but I was very late.
Right.
I came in October.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 month.
That's cool. I think a lot of
Mhm.
schools have the accommodation thing, but it's really
Yeah.
selective.
It's a very long waiting list. I know you got in, but I think
Yeah.
you spent the first month
Yeah.
living
So
somewhere else.
yeah. So when I got here at first, I literally had nowhere to stay. Like literally nowhere. Um, so I applied to be an English teacher for this couple. Like they had twins kids and they wanted the kids to practice their English. So I applied to be an English teacher with them, but I didn't get the job, and an American girl got the job. But I got here a week before the American girl got here, and so I told them I was stranded, and they were like, you have like a week to stay in the house we would have given you if you got the job. So you can stay here for a week, and then within that 1 week, you can use it to find like another place that's gonna be good for you. So thankfully, within that week, I found a service that puts students with like families,
Mm-hmm.
and so you stay with the family, you pay some money, yeah, and then I moved after a week,
Do
and
you
I
remember
stayed.
the name of the service?
Yeah. So we're gonna put it in the that bit. Like you have to listen and wait for it. It's it's gonna come at the end of the podcast. But yeah, I signed up for the service, and then I got housed with this woman who already had 2 kids, but the kids were grown and they had moved out, so she had 2 extra rooms in her house, and then I moved in for like a month. But it was a bit far from campus and it was really expensive as well. And I had already submitted an application for on-campus accommodation, and after like 3 weeks living with the woman, I got the news that, hey, a room has freed up on campus and your application is on top. So do you want it? I'm like, yes, I
Yes,
do.
of course.
Yeah, so I just signed the contract and moved in like a couple of days later. And it's been bliss ever since. And
I
then
don't know why that sounded Taylor Swift shady when you said it that way. You're like bliss.
But I mean, it's been good. It's really close to campus. Like I literally do not walk up to a minute to get to class.
And yet you're still late.
I mean, I have to try. Somebody has to be late, and I've volunteered myself to take up that space. Anyway, how about you? How has your accommodation situation been?
Well, my situation was a little bit unique because my mother moved to France actually the year before I came. So,
Nice.
and she originally got housing through her university as well. But suddenly they did like a mandate for all of the students who were staying in that particular accommodation. They all had to leave because, I don't know, there was some allegations that people were damaging the property. So they kicked everybody out.
Wow.
Yeah. So she had like a month to find a new apartment, and I was trying to help her long distance find an apartment. I was like, "Oh, by the way, if you're looking, can you get a 2-bedroom?" So I think I'm gonna stay, and it worked out, and she got one. So I just moved in with her. Thank God, though, I wouldn't have been able to bring my cat if I hadn't.
Oh, so you brought your cat all the way from Japan?
Yep, I did.
Wow, that's a very international cat. I'm jealous.
No, trust me. It was hell. It was truly, truly hell.
Right. We should do an episode on how to travel with cats.
Honestly,
I mean, yeah, maybe we
can,
should.
We can
Yeah.
definitely. I'll tell the horror story of her crying for like 14 hours straight.
I'm very interested.
I mean, if I was stuck in a box as well, I would cry. So
Yeah, like I sympathize, but she's so loud. Imagine just like walking through the airport and you just hear something that sounds like a cat being murdered
Oh my god.
for hours.
Oh
And that's just my cat. And she's nothing's happening, nothing's going on. And you think like, okay, she'll settle down. No, she gets
Yeah.
louder and just louder and louder. And you pick her up, she quiets down a little bit. You
Yeah.
put her down, she's screaming
just
again. I'm just like,
Dramatic. She's just dramatic.
truly.
I love her fight for freedom. She doesn't want to be put in a box.
But ironically, I landed and I had to take a bus like to get to my mom's house from the airport. And she just stopped crying suddenly, and I was just like, she's dead.
check.
Literally, I was like on the bus being like, oh my god, did you die? Like, did you make it all the way here just to die on me? Well, because like when I got on the airplane, they have you have to sign a waiver that says your pet might die and you can't sue us.
What?
Yes, you have to sign it. Yes. Yeah. Because apparently there's like some risk for pets dying. And so I had signed that. So it was in my mind. And I was just like, oh God, she stopped crying. she's dead. I wasted all that money. Oh my God. And then she was just like, no, bro, I'm kind of tired now.
She was like, I can't pretend anymore.
She was like, I know, like, the story's about me. I am the main character, but I have to take a break sometime.
But talking about pets, so a lot of accommodations I have come to realize here do not allow for pets. I don't know. Do you guys know any reasoning behind that, or any reason for that kind of legislation? Because I would love to get a dog.
I think it's student accommodation that doesn't allow for pets.
Mm.
But the French law allows for pets in most apartments, unless it's
Yes.
specifically in your lease. You're allowed to have a pet.
But if the law allows for people to have pets in their homes,
Mhm.
why can a lease prohibit you from having like a pet?
I'm not sure of all the the
You know what? I'm just
technical
gonna
terms. You
try
can
to
Google
Google it right
like,
now. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I know, like, when I was looking into bringing my cat, I did some research, and unless your animal, I think, causes grievous disturbance or harm to your neighbors, they cannot bar you from getting a pet. But
Okay.
they might add some fees or stipulations into the contract, or they might say, like, if you get a pet and don't inform us, then they can do some legal processes later when you're moving out. But for the most part, you're allowed to have a pet in Paris.
Yes.
I
For
see.
student housing, because it's on campus, I don't know if it's different, honestly.
What if it's a therapy animal?
I
Emotional
think that
support.
only support
Exactly.
animals only for white people, I feel.
Well, then call me white because I need one.
Also, can you imagine having a dog in your bedroom? Like, it would be so small.
I know
Yeah,
it's pretty small.
Very.
It's pretty
Even
small.
for a cat, I think it's gonna be small.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe like when I'm done with school and then I get an apartment, I'm definitely getting a poodle, and we're going to wear matching clothes all the time.
Okay.
I don't know why I both love and hate this idea. Like, if I didn't know you and I saw you, I would judge you so harshly. But at the same time, knowing you, I'd be like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be grand.
No. I will judge you so hard.
Wow.
I will literally distance myself from you. I'll be like, I don't know this person. I've never met this person.
But it could also become like your trademark thing, where it's just like, oh, Adam, he has like the matching poodle. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, you've seen that weird dude who just lives here, who walks his dog.
Yeah, like whenever I wear maybe wine, my dog is gonna wear like pink. We're gonna coordinate colors.
I mean,
It's it's gonna be awesome. Like when we finally do it, you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
but you're already almost always late. So if you then have to get your dog dressed, we'll never see you.
Well, I feel
Sorry,
attacked.
I'm not coming. You
Yeah,
should
sorry,
be.
no comment. But yeah. So back to Tribe. I wanted to ask, like, after you left school, you obviously had to leave the student accommodation. But like, how has
Yes.
finding accommodation outside of school been like for you?
Well, I don't know why you want to like give me PTSD. I have PTSD. It has been very traumatic experience. And I'm just getting over it. I'm just kidding. So I moved. I moved from Brest to Paris because I was studying in Brest.
Okay.
I was in the campus of the EMT in Brest. So I had to move and switch also cities from a city to another.
Where is Brest?
It's in like
Brest
the east.
is like, between your neck.
I know what a titty is. Where is Brest?
It's around that region.
I think that city is in the east of France. I think
I think
to the
it's
east coast or
west,
west.
west coast. It's
Okay.
it's the most western point of France.
Okay.
It's actually called the Finistère, which means where the terre ends.
Oh,
The
okay.
fin de la terre, Finistère.
Oh, I did not know that. Look at me, learning something new.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
So yeah, after moving to Paris, how has like the accommodation hunt been like?
For me, actually, it was really because I have no idea about Paris housing crisis, and I did not know. I haven't had. I don't have family members in Paris, but I had a friend who lives in Paris. So
Okay.
when I finished my school, and I had to do an internship, so I found an internship in Paris, and I knew I was moving in Paris. So I called my friend, and my friend lives with his wife. Their kid moves out, so they have a house and it's kind of big. So they were like, we can host you for the time of your internship, and I was like, cool. So I moved, and I was living with them during the time of my internship for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was in Cergy. I had to commute to come to work in La Défense, but it was still almost free. I had to pay some fee, but it was really just symbolic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, after that, I found a job, finished the study, graduated, and that's when I really faced the struggles of finding a housing because of so many problems. So the funniest story was when about the dossier. So
Yeah.
the French agency, they ask you a dossier when you want to rent,
Yep.
basically. And the dossier they will ask you is usually like impossible documents.
Yeah.
And
Impossible documents.
impossible document. I had just started working, and they were asking me 3 months of pay, salary, bulletin de salaire.
But how would you have that if you just started?
Yeah, I was like, I had just started, and they were like, come back in 3 months, please.
Like, be homeless for the next 3 months while you find something.
That is
Enjoy.
the most French thing I've ever heard.
Yes.
Literally, I was like, I just started, I have my contract, and they were like, but you don't have 3 months pay, so please come back. And if it was not that, they would ask me, do you have a titre de séjour that is really long term?
Yeah.
And I had these ones for like 3 months. They were like, no, please come back when you get the 1 year titre de séjour. So I have been homeless for a month.
So what they're saying is, like, you need to have a job and work there for at least 3 months. You need to have at least like a year long
residency.
visa,
Yep.
like residency, and like, and I'm assuming a down payment as well.
Yeah.
Yes. A down payment that is usually 3 times or 2 times
The rent.
the rent.
Oh my God.
And when you just started working,
It's impossible.
It is impossible.
It's
I feel like most people just end up moving into like a friend of a friend of grandmother's, aunt's, uncle's place
Yeah.
and stay there forever.
yeah.
I mean, that explains the high rate of people that you see sleeping on the streets in Paris. Because, like, a lot of people are homeless.
Yeah.
I remember one time I met someone, and then they were telling me how, they've met a huge number of people that just use these dating apps to just, like, find a place to stay one night in a week to just have a shower, and then just go back onto the streets, like, working and trying to get, like, the dossier complete so that they can actually go out and rent. And it's insane.
Yeah.
Because if the person has, like, a contract, definitely they're going to get paid.
Yeah.
So why don't you just give them their accommodation, and then they're going to pay whatever it is that they're supposed to pay? But, well, I mean, that's just me, though.
But I think part of it is like the laws to evict someone are so difficult that they're really leery to let people rent without so much documentation. So I do get it. If I was a apartment owner or land lease or whatever,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want just anyone moving in because it's so hard to get them out
Yeah.
if there is a problem. But at the same time, it allows for discrimination.
Yep.
And
Yes, it doesn't make sense, especially during winter. You're right.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
there are
insane.
laws that forbid for landlords to evict people, especially during winter.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
I understand they should be careful.
Yeah.
But when you have when you are a student or you just started working and you have all your documents, there should be some laws that can help you with that.
definitely.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so we're going to go for a quick musical break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere.
you now. You and I know I deserve some love. On the road like 40 days now. Steady trapping while the chasing now. Told you I'ma make it up to you, I know if you do. So you shouldn't ask me what it do. You make me sad, I know feel like you. I thought you was down to roll with a trapper man. Girl, I'm away from home, yeah, man, a trapper man. Live my life all alone, steady blowing trees, me a ganja man. I've been blowing trees like a Rasta man. Back to my trap, then it's pretty bam bam.
If roses are red and violets are blue, you were a twin, I still pick you. You could have been us in a coupe, true. Could have been us with the stars on the roof. Don't get it confused, I'ma show you the views on the yacht or cruise. Cause it's you that I choose. Though I've been thinking about you always. Give me a reason that I write. Can't compare to you and I. Even if those are suicide, give me a reason not to try. Even if those are suicide, give me a reason not to try.
Welcome back from that musical break. All the information about the music and the artist are in the description of the podcast, so please check it out if you enjoyed it. So to continue our conversation on how unreasonable some requests are when you're looking for accommodation, we've spoken about what it's like looking for accommodation outside of school, but I want us to talk about, what it's like looking for accommodation as a student, actually. So I'll start with my experience. Before I got here, there were so many services online promising we can get you accommodation, you pay this amount of money, and then we get a guarantor. The guarantor, we provide a guarantee for you, or you can provide your father's account details, and we a lot of hoops
Scams.
to jump through, and so many scams. And honestly, it's very difficult to find what is true and what isn't, but I'm just glad that LPI had a repository of resources that helped us. It was a list of hostels, a list of agencies, I think, to contact or something like that. I really don't remember, but it was super helpful. But I don't know, did you consider any of those things before you applied for your school's accommodation when you were coming?
Other than any of what?
Like maybe an agency that provides accommodation for students, or private hostels or private accommodations and stuff like that?
No, honestly, coming here, I had no expectations. It was like, to me, as long as you have the money, you get to be accommodated.
Right.
It makes sense. If
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
go to a new place and you have the money for it, you should be able to get accommodation. So I was just focusing on that side of the problem. I didn't know. I wasn't expecting all the paperwork after
Right.
that comes along with it.
I mean, having the money in Paris doesn't necessarily guarantee accommodation, because
Definitely.
you have to. The thing that literally blows my mind is that some accommodation options ask you to provide the details of a French guarantor.
Yes.
I am from Ghana. I'm from a town in the armpits of Accra, and I know nobody in Europe.
Yeah.
Not to talk of somebody in France or even in Paris. How am I supposed to get you a French guarantor all of a sudden?
Well, that's what they have the companies now. You can pay and they'll be your guarantor. So
That's not even morally right.
it's not. They're taking advantage of immigrants. They are.
Yeah. But there is also I think it's for the French government or for Action Logement, the visa guarantee.
See, some landlords reject that.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Some
do.
of them won't take it.
They do. But it's actually really useful because I have created a visa. It's called
Visal?
Visal.
Yeah.
And some of the landlords accept that, and
It's reasonably priced.
Yeah, and
Visal is actually free.
It's
Oh, it's
completely
completely
free.
free?
Yeah, Visal is completely free.
Completely free. It's
I don't
called.
think it's completely free for everybody.
Yeah, if you are
You're too old.
below 30,
Yeah.
I think it's free. But if you are above 30, you pay.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know
Yep.
that.
Yeah, I didn't know that as well until I had to check it out
Oh
for
my
one of our
God,
classmates.
I need to find a place before like
France doesn't care. Once you're over like 26, 30, they're just like, yeah, you can go die in a gutter
Yes,
now. Like, we
yes.
don't care.
When I came to Paris, actually, I wanted to try for the what is Imaginaire,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I was like, let me get that discount, and they
Yeah.
were like, nope,
Nope.
sorry, over 26, and I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, it's cost me so much money being old.
I know, but I did not know the visa was not free for everyone.
No, it's
Yep.
not free for everyone. If you're above 30, you have to pay, I think.
Yeah, but it's still cheaper than some other services.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that service is really nice, and I have tried twice, and some people don't accept it, but most people do,
Mm.
and it's completely free. So
Like, so we've got like one of our classmates that I know who's got like money to pay for the accommodation, right? They've got money. They worked for a
Mhm.
very long while and saved some money, and now they're studying here and they're looking for, decent accommodation, and they can pay, even if it's, let's say, 1,000 a month, they can pay.
Mm.
But the only thing holding them back from getting an accommodation is the fact that they don't have a French guarantor.
Yep.
And they don't want to pay a company to guarantee
Mhm. Be
for
the
them because
guarantor,
because they feel like it's not morally right.
yeah,
And
I
I'm just
understand.
thinking, is there a way around this?
yeah.
no,
Move into a friend of a friend's of an aunt's cousin's place. That's the only other option.
there's literally no
Yeah,
other
no.
option.
Man, that is insane. That is-
But also I'm still looking for a place.
Mhm.
I have been living with a friend of a friend for a while now, and the thing is that now I have a dossier. I have a dossier that is, I have 3 months
Yeah.
pay.
Okay.
So I have the papier, and my dossier is right. But the next problem in Paris is that when you get all your dossier right, is that the accommodation, the visits,
Yeah.
Mm.
the place, how to say, I'm losing my English.
You can
The
say it in
state-
French.
The state of the apartment. So basically, the apartment don't worth their
Yeah,
price.
They're super overpriced. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
done over, like, I do two visits per week, almost.
Mm.
And every time I visit an apartment, they're like, okay, so this is a small place. You have a canopy that is also a bed.
Mhm.
And you have your showers, a room. It's like T2
Mhm.
or T1. It's €900, 999, and it's literally this room. And I'm
Yeah.
like, are you guys serious?
Yeah. It's like, would you like to share your toilet with like 4 other people?
And still pay like
Like,
1,000 a month.
€1,000, yeah.
What?
It's crazy.
I have to
It's-
tell you the horror story of like the apartment. So the one I'm in now with my mom. So she actually went to go see it, and she went in December. But the real estate agent had opened all of the windows in the apartment, literally all of them. And my mom was just like, okay, that's weird, but whatever. And she rejected the apartment initially. And then later, she was applying for another apartment, and the real estate agent asked her if she still wanted the shitty one she went to go see because it was still available. And my mom didn't have any other lead, so she took it. And so
Wow.
she finally went to move into the apartment, and the people had dogs and cats previously. And she said she cleaned for almost 3 weeks straight, and the floor changed colors. Like, she bought those like Swiffer wipes, and she bought 3 boxes of the pads
Wow.
and went back to the store for more. That's how
Wow.
disgusting the apartment was.
Oh my god. That is insane.
Yes.
It was really bad.
This is why I was like, the word I was looking for is trash.
It's the truth. It's the truth. They're really trash.
They are really trash, and they are not below €900 inside Paris.
Even
so-
outside, we're paying $950.
$950.
And the rent went up last year.
Man.
So sometimes I'm like, should I just give up and move out of Paris? Like, move back to Brest?
I have I will say though, if you look just outside of the Ring of Paris, it is slightly
Slightly
cheaper
cheaper.
because like we have a
Slightly.
2-bedroom for 950. So
Mm.
But it's slightly
yeah,
I
the
mean,
commute.
the
the
commute.
commute, my God.
The,
I think you work at La Défense.
La Défense, yes.
So if you're supposed to find something outside the circle of Paris, maybe you should look around Nanterre, that area,
Yes.
maybe, because that's like close to work, and then you might not have to commute too much to get to work when you need to.
But I feel like that half of Paris is so expensive.
This is
Exactly.
what I wanted to say. That is the nicest, one of the nicest suburbs in Paris. And no, it's really expensive. I have actually went and looked for a place in La Défense. It's
Mhm.
really expensive, but the buildings, the apartments are new compared to the Parisian ones,
Yeah.
so it makes sense why it is expensive.
Yeah.
But Nanterre is a bit farther, so
It could be,
it
yeah.
could be cheaper. You're right, Nanterre it could be cheaper. But also, I don't get to go to the office so much, so I'm not necessarily looking something close to my workplace. So I work
Makes
from
sense.
home.
Yeah.
Nice. That's the goal.
Yes.
Okay, guys. It's been fun having you guys on today. This brings us to the end of our conversation about the housing crisis in Paris and how to navigate. I know in our conversations we haven't really given you any solid pointers on how to navigate them, but right after this musical break, we are going to give you the names of 2 things that would be very beneficial to you in your housing search as a student in Paris. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We don't depend on time. She come for another round. We love him. She know it might take time. She wait for another round. We love him. My aunties, there is no time. I might give another one. We love him. Sit down, there is no time. You might wanna buckle on. Good loving. We got the sun, we're craving. And if our ways don't break, then it is a lie. And if the sun don't shine, we just still a die. Still a die. Ooh, yeah, we just still a die. And if the sun don't shine, we just still a die. Shorty do a tease with that bomb. Shorty wanna kill it with that bomb. She moved and it is a lie. My father in the sky was crucified. So if the sun don't shine, we just still a die. That's everything. That's everything. That's everything. That's everything.
Welcome back from that musical break. All the information about the music and the artists are available in the podcast description, so be sure to check it out if you enjoy them. So for today's episode, the tips to help you navigate accommodation in Paris, it's an app called Jinka. That's Jinka. It's an app that collates all the housing listings on every platform, every website into one, and allows you to browse them and inputs filters and eliminates the ones that don't fit into your budget or your location and stuff like that. It's really helpful. It's helped a couple of people that I know. I've recommended it to people since I got here because it was really helpful in the beginning for me as well. But that's for if you are looking to maybe rent a room in colocation or like in an apartment, or if you're looking to, get your own place. But also you can consider colette.club. That's COLETTE, colette.club. And that is the service that put me in contact with a family that had me stay in their home and fed me sometimes, and really helped me settle in Paris before I got my student accommodation. And you have some really, really cheap options from as low as 200 euros to as high as 800 euros, depending on the location or depending on the things available in the house. So be sure to get in touch with Colette Club. It is a website, not an app. So you can just go to colette.club.com, oh, sorry, colette.club, and then you can just fill the form and yeah, check out the listings and get in touch with them and see if you can find something that works for you. I always recommend it to people, but the only catch about Colette Club, yes, I just remembered, is that you need to be below 30 years. So if you're above 30, I'm sorry, Colette, it's not going to work for you. So maybe stick to Jinka, that's Jinka, and then find an accommodation listing and then submit a dossier and hopefully you get it. But if you're below 30 and you're an international student and you speak a bit of French, or even if you speak only English, because some families want to practice their English as well, you can get a good family that's going to help you acclimatize to Paris, see new places, eat some very French food, and just get used to the system. So yeah, that brings us to the end of today's episode. It's been so much fun having you guys, and thank you to Tiffany, thank you to Shrive, thank you so much for being on today's episode, and we will see you same time next week. Take care of yourself, be safe, ciao ciao.